Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another golf ball review for you today, and we are diving into the OnCore AVANTE 55. Let's dive in. So out of all the direct-to-consumer golf ball lines, I definitely have my favorites, and I definitely have some that need vast improvements, but one I've always been pretty fond of is OnCore. OnCore's been in the game for a while now. It feels like maybe 6 or 7 years now, somewhere in there. They were one of the pioneers, kind of, you know, like the Vice, the Cut, one of the first ones to really come out and be big about it. And OnCore has always had this AVANTE 55 ball. This is actually their two-piece, you know, beginner, intermediate golf ball, ones that test really, really well on this channel, that kind of thing. Back in the day, I think it's been about 3 years now, I tested the Elixir, which tested really well. I tested the Vero X1, and both of those golf balls tested really, really well, and so I enjoyed that. Now, I am bringing those reviews back. I know it's been a few years. They need retesting. We have new launch mod, new clubs, and that is coming soon. I actually bought a performance pack from OnCore, and I actually have all those golf balls tested, and that'll be what's coming up next. But for now, we are focusing on the AVANTE 55. As I said, this is their two-piece golf ball. It has a Surlyn cover, I think 392 dimples somewhere in there, just designed to be nice and soft, really fast, explosive, get up in the air, and help a lot of new golfers just kind of stay in the fairway and get the most out of their distance, which is what a lot of these two-piece golf balls do, and that's honestly why a lot of them test really well on this channel. Now, I have a swing speed of 92 to 93 mile an hour, and actually I have to give OnCore some credit here. If you've watched the channel in the past, you know that one thing I really love is when a golf company tells me who their golf ball is designed for. If I go to their website, it says, hey, you know, this is the swing speed it's designed for, this is who. A lot of them don't. A lot of them you go on there and it just says massive distance, really long, impress your friends, lower your score, and it's just all generic BS. This one does not. OnCore actually does a really good job of kind of diving in there and saying, hey, this is for this swing speed. You know, it actually says it's for 65 to 80 mile an hour swing speed. It actually says, you know, it's for beginner golfers. It's for, you know, people, seniors, juniors, stuff like that. It actually kind of tells you who it's for. So I give OnCore some credit there. Now, I did notice in there it says from 65 to 80 mile an hour swing speed, which tells me that if I had to just make an educated guess now, I would say that the irons are going to perform really, really well with this golf ball. And once you get into the hybrid and the driver, maybe not so much. At that point, I'll probably be over compressing it, but we'll see that later in the performance. Now, getting into the price of the AVANTE 55, so this is where it gets kind of interesting. So I have really mixed emotions here. So it is $20, which was kind of like the Snell Get Some. That's a pretty common price point for two-piece golf balls, $19.99. That part's okay. When you get to the shipping, it's actually $9 shipping, which is really, really high. I'm not a fan of. That basically means that if you want to try this golf ball, you got to pay $29 a dozen for a two-piece, and in that regard, the value is very, very low. Anytime a two-piece golf ball gets above 25, it starts kind of getting into this red zone where it's like, is the value going to be there? Because there's just so many golf balls we've tested on this channel that have been under that and have performed really, really, really well. So if golf ball A performs awesome and it's $19.99 and that's just it, and golf ball B performs really, really well but it's $29, well, you're going to go with the $19.99. They both perform really, really well. So the $20 doesn't bother me, but the $29 shipping definitely does. But I notice OnCore's actually done something a little different here, which I kind of respect, but it's only for a certain crowd. And what I mean by that is that they have something called Club OnCore, which I guess you can sign up for on their website. You can basically either pay $250 a year or $100 a year, or I think you can do monthly as well. But what this actually does is it allows you to receive discounts on every box of golf balls you buy, any tees, towels, shirts, anything like that on their website. And it also it makes you eligible for free shipping on all your orders as well. So do I see a scenario where that actually pays for itself and actually saves you a little bit more? Well, absolutely. If you decide, hey, I love OnCore and I want to use this golf ball exclusively, and you sign up for the yearly, I do think that by the time you buy all the boxes you need for the season, by the time maybe you buy a shirt, a hat, whatever, get free shipping every single time, especially at $9 a pop. I mean, $9 a pop, you buy 5 boxes throughout the year, that's already $45 in shipping alone. I do think eventually it gets to a point where, yes, it is worth it, but you have to be all in on OnCore. If you're a casual like I am, where you try a bunch of different golf balls, it really doesn't make sense to become a member of Club OnCore, and you just got to pay the $29. So that's kind of unfortunate. Like I said, it's kind of a mixed bag. I like that they have the Club OnCore. I think that's awesome for returning customers. But if you're wanting to just try their two-piece golf ball, $29 is a lot of money. So I'm kind of disappointed in that. I'll give it overall like maybe a C+, but it could be better. I wish they would offer this to where you could try it. Maybe even just try a sleeve or something at a smaller discount, because I think if you get people in the door, that promotes them being able to know your product. And if they know your product, they might love your product. If they love your product, they might become a lifelong customer. So anyway, long rant there. Let's go ahead and get into the design of the golf ball. OnCore's logo has been the same for a while now. I do like it. It's unique. It's different. You definitely recognize it. It's becoming more recognizable, so that's good. You know, overall, it does look kind of plasticky. It feels kind of plasticky. That's to be expected. It's a cheaper golf ball. Got a Surlyn cover. Now, coming over on the side here, they did actually improve this alignment tool. It didn't used to be like this. I like that they've condensed it all down. They've made it symmetrical. They've made it to where essentially what it is you look at it up close and you see the words and you see the numbering, but if you're actually looking over it as far as to line up your putt, you don't see that as much. You just see a nice black bar. So overall, it's not the best alignment tool I've seen, but it's actually pretty good. Overall, not a bad design. It's a two-piece golf ball. There ain't much to it. So let's go ahead and get out to the chipping and putting green, and let's see how it does around there. Oh, it kind of acted like it was going to there, but no, not much. Too much sauce. All right, so you might have seen there was a couple times the golf ball really wanted to check up, but it just doesn't have enough spin and it doesn't have enough grip, which is common with two-piece golf balls. But the good news is it was very forgiving. Even on miss hits off the wedge, it still actually had a really good distance control as far as getting it where I wanted it. I did overshoot it once, but overall it feels soft. It does have kind of a firm press to let you know feedback, which is great. And like I said, it's really forgiving, which a lot of new golfers, intermediate golfers need. They need that forgiveness of having that straight, nice release. You are going to want to take a little bit off of it when you're with your wedge than you normally do, just because it's not going to check up. It's not. It's going to have a nice straight firm release, but it is going to roll a little bit more than some of you are probably used to. Oh man, little left. All right, so with the putter, a little different here. So usually with a two-piece golf ball, whenever you putt it, you're gonna get a lot of spring. Usually you don't have to come back as far, which again is great for beginners, intermediates. You know, the longer you come back with the putt, the more room there is for air as far as when you strike it and which way your putter goes and which way the ball goes. Not the case here though. This one doesn't have a lot of spring to it. It's actually pretty dead coming off the putter. It does feel soft. It does feel a little dead, but it is soft for the most part, probably an 8 or 9 out of 10 on the softness scale. But the real problem I have with it is that it does take quite a bit to get the ball to go where you want. It actually kind of reminds me, as far as distance-wise, of a 4-piece golf ball or something a lot firmer, which if you're used to something like that, let's say you're coming from a Pro V1 and you realize, you know, maybe I just didn't need a Pro V1 as much as I thought I did. I need a 2-piece forgiving. You'll probably get the same distance as far as what you're feeling there, but it's something that's different for me. I usually like that spring in the putter, but overall it doesn't feel bad. It's not blowing me away or anything, but it's not bad. The roll is kind of true for the most part. I just wish it had a little more spring in its step, that's all. All right, so the AVANTE 55 does have a pretty good feel to it. It feels really soft, squishy. It feels really vibrant off the club, like it has some bouncy ball effect, which is really good. That's how I'd expect most two-piece golf balls to feel. I don't think it feels quite as good as the Get Some ball, but I will say it's close. The Get Some ball, if it's, let's just say a 10 out of 10 or whatever, this would be like a 9 out of 10. It's very close to that, so I love the feel of it. I think based on the feel alone, I think I am about to have some really good numbers with the irons, but let's check that. Let's get into the 9-iron first. Ball speed, we are looking at 96.1. Boy, I didn't expect that. Holy cow, that's 5 mile an hour gained. That's awesome. 133.3, so we gained, oh my goodness, 8 yards. Yeah, about 8 yards with that. Oh, that's incredible. 128.3 on your carry, 25.9 launch, so it launched high. So we're off to a really, really good start. That's an amazing number. It's actually been a while since I got a 96. Usually my average is actually 91 on the dot with a 9-iron for ball speed. Last time I got anywhere close to that, goodness. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. Oh, I'm going to have to scroll all this. 92, 90, 90. There we go. You know what? Wilson Zip. The Wilson Zip was the last time I had something that really good, and that review was a while ago. So I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've had a really good performance with the 9-iron like that. So let's keep that rolling. Let's go into the 7-iron now. 6,238 spin, which is just slightly below average. It is going to stick a green, but maybe not as well as some of you are used to. There's going to have to be a small adjustment there, at least a few yards. 110.6, so that's an incredible ball speed. It's actually a little bit better than even the Get Some. Love that. 166.7, which I actually lost yards compared to the Get Some, but not by much. 156.1 and an 18 launch, so it launches about mid. So again, we're continuing right on. I had a feeling the irons would really compress this golf ball well based on, you know, how the compression it is, which by the way, if you didn't know, is 55. That's why they call it AVANTE 55. But yeah, so far really good. Hopefully this continues into the 5 hybrid because like I said before, I think the woods is where I might start over compressing it a little bit. So let's check and see and find out. 4,187, that's a mid spin range, which is great. 120.4, so no, we gained quite a bit of mile per hour. We are still on this train, which is awesome. 199.8, 186.6, great, awesome numbers. I mean, gained about 7-8 yards, launched 15, which was average high, just slightly high, which I really love. Again, I love being able to get the ball up with my hybrid. I love being able to stick a green with my hybrid, and getting that type of launch angle with the spin I had, it will do that. So that's awesome. That's exactly what I would want. So based on those numbers, you know, this is going really, really well. These numbers are actually slightly better than the Snell Get Some so far. And if the Snell Get Some was the last review I did, maybe 5 days ago, and it was one of the best golf balls on the channel, top 10 for sure. And so now this one's having an argument back to back saying, hey, I deserve a spot in that top 10 too. But what's going to close it is, we still have durability, of course, but what we also have is the driver. Am I going to over compress it with the driver? So let's find out. Getting into the driver, we have 2,824 on the spin, which is just slightly above average. 239.5, which that was what I was afraid of, unfortunately. Lost 3 yards from my average. 132, I lost 2.5 mile an hour ball speed. 218.4, that is losing a little bit as well. 15.6, so that's a launch angle that is actually decently high. Yeah, it's a decently high launch angle. So it does a lot of things really well. I love the consistency too. It has some pretty good consistency. Forgiveness has been really good as well. I love the forgiveness. Off miss hits, I'm not losing a lot of yards. So there's a lot of good here. I wish those driver numbers had just been a little bit better, but that's what I was afraid of. So before I get into my closing thoughts, I do want to touch on the durability real quick. Looking at this bad boy, you'll notice some scuffing. You'll notice some hits. You'll notice you know, I'm feeling it with my hand, and it definitely in areas does feel a little sandpapery. It's getting to the point after 60 shots, which is what I use it for. I don't know how much more longer it would last. I would say 3/4 of a round to maintain the integrity of the golf ball, but if you happen to go a full round, you can probably get that. But after that full round, it needs to be tossed, because at that point, you're not getting the flight you're supposed to have. You're not getting a roll you're supposed to have. You're not getting any of that. So really, 3/4 of a round probably. It's overall maybe like a B-, 3 out of 5. It's not bad. Again, it's a Surlyn cover. I don't expect a ton. But you know, most people who are buying the $20 golf balls are probably going to lose a couple around anyway, so it's not a super big deal. Okay, so final thoughts. You know, on one hand, yes, I wish the driver numbers had been a lot better. That would have definitely given this golf ball a bigger spot on my channel. But that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily the end of the world, and I'll tell you why. Because one of the things we do on this channel is we also figure out who the golf ball is for. That's usually how I conclude these, is by saying, hey, here's who I think the golf ball is for. I swing 92 mile an hour. Obviously, that's just a little too fast, because once you get to the driver, it's there, but it's close. So I would say, you know, honestly, I know that OnCore says up until 80 mile an hour. I would make an argument that around 85, 87, we'll just say 85 for the sake of argument. If you're swinging around 85, which means you're probably a senior, you might be a junior, whatever, I think this could be a really phenomenal golf ball for you, because I think you're still going to get the gains in the wedges, the gains in the irons. I think you're still going to compress those really well. But with the driver only swinging 85, I think you're actually going to see distance gains, and I think you're not going to over compress it. So even though the golf ball wasn't perfect for me, I think you go down a little bit in swing speed, and I think actually it's going to be perfect for a lot of people. It performed really well. it's at an okay price point. The price point's really tough for me because I wish it was under $29 a dozen. I have been able to find these golf balls in retail stores here and there and in golf shops. So if you can find one there and just get it for the 20 a dozen, that's a great deal. It really is. However, knowing that we just tested the Snell Get Some with shipping, it was only $25. Is this worth the extra $4? No. Now, let's pretend somehow you get a sleeve of these and you just absolutely love them. You know, joining OnCore Club might be a good decision. You can save a lot of money. I mean, just saving 25% alone on the merchandise, I mean, $20, that would be $5 off. You'd only pay $15 a dozen and you'd get free shipping. So again, you'd have to be a consistent customer with them for that. But if you end up really liking OnCore, there's discounts and value to be had. So I don't know, that's weird. I've never had that on the channel before, so the value's kind of hit and miss for me. But overall, guys, not a bad golf ball. It's so good to have two back-to-back really great ones. We'd gone through a period of testing a lot of tour balls that just didn't make the cut. So now to get into these ones again that have a chance to be in the top 10 or top 20 maybe, it's good to be back to that. So as always, keep watching to keep saving and keep learning. Until next time.